Hey guys, today I wanted to talk to you about highlighting and contouring. Now this is confusing to a lot of people, so I figured I'd make kind of a quick video on how to highlight and contour. First I just wanted to explain what highlighting and contouring means. Highlighting is highlighting anything on your face that you want to attract attention to. So when you're highlighting your face, you typically want to highlight the center of your face because that's going to be the thinnest part of your face, and you also want to bring attention to your eyes. So your highlighter colors are typically going to go down the center of your nose, your forehead, underneath your eyes, your chin, top of your lip, and bottom of your lip. Now contouring is any area that you want to make appear receded or appear thinner. So typically you're going to want to highlight right under your contour right under your cheekbone to make you look thinner through the face and give you the appearance of a higher cheekbone. Most people like to contour along their jawline to shave about 10 pounds off. You would contour around your forehead to make your forehead smaller. You could contour down the side of your nose to thin out your nose. If you have a long face, you could contour underneath your chin to give the appearance of your face being smaller. Now while highlighting and contour is going to be different for everybody, if you just remember that the ideal face shape is oval shaped and that you want to get your face as close to oval shape as possible, that can help you decide on where to highlight and contour. Say you already have a really long, thin face and a really thin jawline. You're not going to want to contour your jawline because you're going to make your jawline appear even thinner. Or if you have an extremely large forehead, you definitely are going to want to go heavier with the contour to create a shadow to make your forehead look smaller. So while highlighting and contour is going to be different for every face shape, just keep in mind that you generally want to go for an oval shaped face. That just seems to be what I guess the beauty world considers perfect. So I'm going to share some products with you that I found work pretty well to highlight and contour with. I know you guys saw my review of the Mally contour kit. I do actually end up liking these a little more than I thought I would. First I complained that the sticks were kind of wide, but I think that ends up being a good thing because I just got the NYX Wonder Sticks. I was extremely disappointed in these. I'm actually taking these back to Ulta tomorrow. I did order these online, but when they came, all of them were broken. I see that one completely came off in the cap. I haven't even got to use them yet. So I don't know if the formula is just extremely creamy and they break really easily, but they're all broken from the base. So I couldn't even use them to try. I don't know if the formula is too creamy, but I definitely don't think I'd recommend these. But these highlight and contour sticks are becoming a lot more popular. Usually one end is going to have the contour, which is your dark color, and your highlight, which is the light color, which is broken off in the cap. But anyways, and with the Mally you've got the lighter color and the darker color also. Now your contour shade, you're going to want something to be about 2 shades darker than your natural skin tone, and your highlight shade you want to be about 2 shades lighter than your natural skin tone. So if you wanted to just use regular foundation, you could do that. Like I would highlight and contour, I'd probably highlight with the fairest shade, which would be this color, and I could contour with one of these 2 shades. So you can use a regular cream foundation to highlight and contour also. You don't have to have a special product. You can also highlight and contour with powders. This is the Anastasia contour kit, and it's got 3 highlighting colors and 3 contouring colors. When I highlight and contour with powders, I like them to be matte powders. I don't want to use anything that's got shimmer or glitter in them. I know a lot of people will contour with their bronzers, but bronzers are meant to give the skin a glow, not necessarily to contour with. Because they have glitter or shimmer in them, they're not going to contour as well as something that's matte like these shadows or powders. You can also contour with matte brown shadows or matte colored lighter shadows to highlight. So it's not just one thing that you can use. Many beauty items can be used to highlight and contour. So I'm going to show you how I highlight and contour. I'm going to be doing powders on one side and cream on the other just to show you how I do mine. Alright, so we're going to start off with highlighting. I'm going to be using my Graftobain corrector palette, and I'm going in with this very light shade. And I've already done my foundation and everything. Typically I like to contour after I have my foundation and the rest of my makeup on. So I'm going to highlight down the center of my nose, underneath my lip, at the top of my lip, above my brow bone. I'm going to go in a triangle shape underneath my eye. I'm going to go past my eye a little bit at an angle to kind of uplift everything. I'm going to go to the center of my forehead. And remember, I'm using the powder palette on the other side, so I'm only doing half of my face with the cream. Okay, so now I'm going to go in with my contour color. And it is a darker cream foundation is what I've used for that. So I'm going to go right underneath my cheekbone. Don't take it too far in. And depending on your product, you probably want to blend it in pretty quickly. I'm going to go in with a beauty blender to blend this, because it's probably, since I'm filming, is going to set and not be that easy to blend. I'm going in at my jawline because I'm trying to make my face appear a little bit thinner. I'm also going to take mine all the way underneath my chin to try to shrink my face. I take it at my hairline on my forehead. I'm going to go down the side of my nose to thin my nose out. If you already have an extremely thin nose, I would leave this part out. Or if you're thin at the bottom and you're wider at the top, just contour at the top, or vice versa. Now I've seen some people, Kim Kardashian, go a little overboard with the highlighting contouring. And if that's what you like, more power to you, but I prefer a little more of a natural highlighting contour. I don't like whenever it looks like you're white in the center of your face and dark around the edges. I just think it's a very unnatural look. And the way she gets that is she goes extremely dark with her contour and extremely light with her highlight. So if you want to go for that look, just go up lighter with your highlight and darker with your contour. You could also use this technique if you were doing something dramatic. If you were really trying to change your appearance and you really needed to thin your nose out, you could definitely go heavier with the contour or lighter with the highlight, depending on what look you're going for. If you were going for a Michael Jackson nose, you would load up the contour on each side. Alright, so you should be left with what looks like war paint. So now we're going to go ahead and blend. Okay, now to blend this out, you have two options. Well, three really. You could use your fingers to blend. You could use a tightly packed foundation brush or a stippling brush to blend, or you can go in with your beauty blender. If you were using your brush, and I don't know how well this is going to work because this is dried on my face just a little bit, you're just going to take your brush and you're going to blend everything in circular motions. And you can see on camera how my face looks thinner on this side than it does this side because this side hasn't been contoured yet. Now you want to blend that line in pretty well. Now don't blend it to the point where you've completely taken the contour off because then you won't see it. If you're doing anything for photography or film, you could leave it a little bit heavier, that way it would show up on camera. And highlighting and contouring isn't something that I do every day. Really, if I'm just going to be in photographs or I'm going out somewhere fancy, which is never, I will highlight and contour. But typically every day I will just highlight underneath my eyes, down the center of my face. I don't usually contour every single day. But if you're looking for a flawless makeup application, I would totally suggest it. So I'm just taking my brush and swirling it around to blend in that contour. And then I'm going to take it and start blending your contour first, because if you go in and use the same brush and go back over your highlight like I just did, you're going to get the dark there. So switch brushes in between. So maybe do your contour first or your highlight first and then clean your brush in between. So you can see the difference of the contour from this side to the other. And now I'm going to show you just with the Beauty Blender how I do my highlight. I'm going to take the pointed tip and just smooth that around my lip. I also like to, I like to highlight just the center of my chin, so I'm just going to take a little bit, kind of keep all the light towards my face. And make sure your Beauty Blender isn't too damp or you'll be taking all of the highlight and contour off. I'm just going to take my Beauty Blender and soften out that highlight. And don't forget the side of your nose. And there you have it. So you can see my cheekbone appears higher on this side because of the contour. I have that nice lightness underneath my eye. Jawline looks a little bit thinner. Now you could also take the highlight and contour down your chest. If you wanted to make your cleavage look bigger, make your neck look a little bit thinner, you could take that contour down the sides like that. So anything that you want to make thinner or disappear, you would want to contour. Alright, now we're going to do it with powder on the other side. Okay, for contouring the other side with powder, and remember you can use matte eyeshadows if you wanted to try that. A matte light color for your highlight, a matte medium brown or a dark brown depending on your skin tone. Just make sure that it doesn't have any sparkles or shimmer or that you're not using a bronzer. You're going to want to use a tapered angled brush like this for the bigger parts, meaning your jawline, cheekbone. For smaller detail, you're going to be wanting to use a smaller fluffy brush like this for down the sides of the nose, around the forehead. Just kind of depends on how big your face is and your face shape. So we'll start with the contour first. Now because I am extremely fair, I'm going to go in with the lightest of these three shades, and I'm going to start my contour first. I'm actually going to be going in with this middle shade because it's a little more neutral and cool tone. These ones are a little bit more warm tone, and since I'm naturally cool tone, I'm going to go in with this one. Personally, I like contouring and highlighting with creams better. I feel like if you're not familiar with doing powders, you can end up making your face almost look dirty. So I've just taken that medium color and I'm just going in right under my cheekbone. And always tap off your excess, that'll prevent you from getting a big dirty line. Go in at my jawline. You can already see the shadow. And powders and creams are both buildable, so if you were going for a really dramatic look, if you ever watch RuPaul's Drag Race and the drag queens are extremely dramatic with theirs, it just really depends on what look you're going for. But for everyday, natural photography, I typically go a little bit lighter. If you're doing performance, stage performance, you could definitely go heavier. Just remember, if you're seeing people up close and personal, they're going to see all of the highlighting and contouring if you've gone too heavy. I'm just going to soften that line if you've gone too heavy. Then I'm going to switch brushes. And I'm going to go down the side of my nose. And if your nose is still too small and this brush is too big, you can switch to a smaller brush. Just pick an appropriate brush size for your face shape. Go a little bit underneath the nose. And go around my hairline. Okay. Now for my highlighter color, I'm going to go in with this center one. This kind of has a yellow tone to it. Yellow colors are really good for highlighting colors on most skin tones. So if you see a yellow based powder, you could go in with that. Alright, so I've cleaned my Sigma angle brush and I'm just going to go in with this yellow powder. Tap off my excess. I'm going to dust it underneath my eye, on my cheekbone. Take the bristles and flatten them out a little bit and just go just above my eyebrow. And then you can go down center of the forehead, down the center of my nose, chin, around my lips. Right up underneath my eye, all the way up at an angle. Okay, and that's basic highlighting and contouring. And like I said, powders, creams, they both work well, but the goal is to not make your face look dirty. You just want to make your face look a little bit more contoured. So if you see any harsh edges or anything that you need to blend out, do that. Because if you're going to be seeing people, you know, in person, face to face, they'll definitely see your contour if you haven't blended it in enough. Film, television, photography are a little more forgiving with highlighting and contouring. Stage performers, drag queens, dancers can go a little bit heavier with things because you won't be able to see it from a distance. And after I've done my highlighting and contouring, if I wanted to go back and do anything else, I might go back and add a little bit more blusher on the cheeks because you might have taken some off while you were highlighting and contouring. So I'm just going to go in and pop just a little bit more blusher on. And I've seen some really good pins on Pinterest that can help you determine your face shape. So if you go in there and do a search for highlighting and contouring charts, there's plenty of charts that can show you if you have a heart-shaped face, a square-shaped face, an oblong face, a round face, different ways and where you would want to apply your highlighting and contouring. Because like I said, it's going to be different for everybody. I mean, you're always going to want to contour your cheekbones, usually your chin, unless you have an exceptionally thin chin and a long face, and probably not. Usually around the forehead you're always going to contour, but depending on how big your forehead is going to depend on where you actually start the contour. So if you go on Pinterest, they have really good charts that can kind of guide you into learning what your face shape is and how to contour it. Hope you guys enjoyed my quick video on highlighting and contouring. And remember, it just takes practice. The more you practice, the better you'll be at it. And try both. Try the cream products, try powder products, try eyeshadows. Whatever works for you is going to be best for you. I will be sure to put a description of all the products that I use in the box, so if you want to try these products, you can. If you have any questions about anything, leave it in the comment box below and I'll be happy to answer. And thanks for watching.